Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the college headmaster, Mr. Damien Miller, I would like to welcome you to the 2016 Information Evening at St. Gregory's College, Campbelltown. My name is Josiah Mohow and I am the 2016 college captain. In cooperation with the college's Year 7 liaison, Ned Mulholland, we will be emceeing for the evening. As is customary at St. Gregory's College, let us begin our gathering this evening with prayer.
We pause to remember the uniqueness of this place. We honour and respect the generations of the Darrell people who held this land in their dreaming. Now begin in prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, we gather this evening as teachers and parents, making decisions for the young people in our care. May our discussions be marked by wisdom and compassion, understanding and hope. Guide us in our meeting that we may work together in gentleness and in simplicity and as family, which is the Morris way. So Martha and Champagne, Mary, our good mother, pray for us. And let us always remember, pray. And Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
It gives me great pleasure to be addressing you this evening about the opportunities present at this incredible place for the young men here today. For some of you I know, the move from primary school to high school will be daunting, but I also know some of you are excited. Whatever you feel, it is important to realise that you need not be nervous or anxious. Greg's is a big place and there are huge changes, but feel right at home amongst your new family of brothers. Yes, there will be homework, exams, conversations with mum and dad about committing to school, but that's alright. All these things must pass as we continue on life's journey. It is easy for me to summarise the academic side of St. Greg's in one sentence: quality education for young men, with staff going above and beyond the norm to ensure success for your sons, especially as they progress into the most important years of their schooling life. It is that simple. More than any other place, I believe, Greg's provides parents and students with an atmosphere that is genuine and is paramount for a young man's success in life. You see, at Greg's, one does not just go to school. Greg's will become your home away from home, a place where you can grow as a collective group of young men through sport, education, and Morris values of family, love of work, and simplicity. You will learn what it is to go to Greg's, to unrelentingly make voices coarse for our boys on the sporting field, to show our unity together with the loudness of our singing at Mass. Boys, you face an opportunity to not only gain skills to further you academically, but also to gain lifelong friends. When you come to Greg's, the truth of the matter is that we not only focus on your development as a man, but also in your field of expertise, whether that be the classroom or the sporting field. Finally, looking back to my Year 7 days, there is one speech that Mr. Miller said that really stood out for me. He said that there were 86,400 seconds in a day, 365 days in a year. The emphasis was on not wasting a single one of these seconds. Boys, you've got it all here. Staff willing to put in the effort for you. Boys who are willing to help you settle and adopt you into our brotherhood. Pathways for sport, public speaking, co-curricular activities, or anything else. All for your benefit. Come to St. Greg's, gentlemen, and I promise you that when you walk out of that hall in 6 years, crying, as many before you have, you will not regret the fact that you've worn the blue and maroon for so long. Thank you very much.
As Josiah said before, I'm Ned Mulholland and this year's current Year 7 Liaison Officer. This is my 6th year at St. Gregory's, starting way back in Year 7, and before that starting at St. Paul's Primary School in Camden. Boys, I realise that this is a very tough decision on your hand, but I can tell you by personal experience that coming to St. Gregory's College will be the best decision you'll ever make. The opportunities you will experience here will outdo any other school in this area. And I recommend to put your hands up for every opportunity that comes your way. I've been privileged at St. Gregory's College to travel overseas to France on the Western Front and an immersion to Fiji. And from my personal experience, never a truer word has been said than the school motto, what you sow, so shall you reap. I'd now like to introduce a new boy to St. Gregory's College. Lachlan McInerney is a Year 7 student, and he's going to give his reflections on his start to St Gregory's College. Please welcome Lachlan.
Thanks, Ned. It seems like yesterday that I was sitting right where you are now, in this very large and impressive hall. I was nervous about what was to come, a little overwhelmed about the anticipation of beginning high school, but I was also full of hope of what would bring in my new journey, of what my new journey would bring at St Gregory's College in 2016. Those months of finishing primary school seemed to fly by, and it wasn't long before the start of my high school journey was upon me. My first taste of St Greg's community was going for my uniform fitting at the end of last year. The ladies in the uniform shop were extremely welcoming. They fitted my uniform, and although I felt like it was 3 sizes too big and the long socks were a little different to what I was used to, they assured me that all the other boys would look exactly the same. I received my huge school bag and Year 7 pack with all the books, pens, pencils, and everything else I'll need in order to begin my new adventure. Over the holiday period, I think I looked at the items in the Year 7 pack over 1 million times. I'm not sure whether I was checking to see if my brother had left everything alone or if it was just the excitement of high school looming. When my first day of Year 7 had finally arrived, I couldn't wait to get started. I was one of the first boys at school that day, nice and early. I think it was due to a mixture of my eagerness and a little of my mum's fear of getting me late to school on my very first day. We started with an assembly that morning, and I'm not sure I'll ever get that overwhelming feeling of community spirit out of my head. We were all called out individually that morning, and were welcomed by shaking both Mr. Miller and the school's captain Josiah's hand as we received our certificate and our school diary. It seemed like in that instant, I knew that my journey at St Gregory's College would be unforgettable. It has only been 4 weeks since starting high school, and I've already done so much then I could ever imagine. I've already experienced the opening mass, met my Year 12 big brother, started playing rugby union, had a study skills session, laptop boot camp, participated in the Golden Feather Place public speaking competition, and who could forget the swimming carnival? Which, can I say, is like nothing you've ever seen before. Over 1,000 boys doing a dance-off to I'm a Single Lady, played by an actual DJ. Definitely not like the primary school carnivals that I was used to. Even my mum and dad had some fun at the new parent cocktail evening last weekend. And that's not even what is to come over the next few weeks. I can't wait for the upcoming Year 7 camp, rugby league trials, debating, and participating in the Toastmasters course. There are numerous opportunities on offer here at St Greg's, something for everyone. So don't be afraid to get in many of those as possible, to make the most of your experience here. Naturally, over the last few weeks, I was particularly nervous about some things. Things like finding my way around, using my locker, catching the bus home, organising homework, or making new friends. These things all seemed to just fall in place with the help of the wonderful teachers and the support of all the older boys who were always willing and eager to lend a hand. They made the transition into high school so much easier. It's hard not to be impressed with all that St Greg's has to offer. You only need to drive up the long driveway, look at the amazing view, and walk around the spectacular buildings. But you don't choose a school by looking at the bricks and mortar. You choose a school by the feeling you get when you walk through those doors. Trust me when I say that here at St Greg's, there's a real feeling of family and community spirit, and the Morris culture and Catholic values that underpin everything we do here at St Greg's makes this place so special and unique. A place that you definitely want to be a part of. We all naturally spend time thinking about our future, what car we'll drive, what we'll do when we leave school, where we'll live. But if I can give you any advice about starting your high school adventure, it would be take one step at a time, put one foot in front of the other, and enjoy every single moment and experience. Leave Year 6 at the end of the year with wonderful memories, and begin Year 7 ready to achieve your best. After all, I see it as such a privilege to be part of St Gregory's College community. And I'm looking forward to meeting you all in the playground next year. Thank you.
Congratulations, Lachlan, on having the courage to stand up and give your reflections on your beginnings at St Gregory's College. A job well done. Our college headmaster, Mr. Damien Miller, joined the college in 2009, and it has overseen many positive developments whilst under his direction. To address you now, I welcome Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Josiah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our information night. Just a quick overview of St Greg's. We have an academic program that we're very proud of, and we're very fortunate that the boys who come here get a wide-ranging experience. We try to cater to their needs. If I give you a quick example, just looking at Year 11, we offer 33 subjects there. Boys up at that end of the school have to do Catholic studies, they have to do English, then they have a choice of 33 subjects from there. We cater for the academic trail, we cater for the vocational students. If the boys are going to uni, they will be able to do academic subjects that will get them into uni. If they want an apprenticeship, they'll be able to do vocational subjects which will lend the support to them to go that way. Just a quick overview of our HSC results from last year. We actually got 71 Band 6s, and when I looked around the diocese, that was the best result as far as Band 6s went. When I look at the number of boys who went to university, we had over 70% of that class getting invitations to uni on the first round offers. We also had 20% of the boys get early entry into uni. We had 20 boys who actually got apprenticeships before the HSC ended as well. So all in all, we were very pleased with that year group and how well they achieved. The options are out there for boys to do well, but they have to take those opportunities. We will support those boys academically. We'll do it in a number of ways. I run a homework club on a Monday afternoon for boys from Year 7 to 9. They come along for an hour, they sit down, they find they get their homework done very quickly. They can ask me for help as well. Also, we run a mathematics club on a Wednesday afternoon. Boys are most welcome to go along there. It's staffed by mathematics teachers. Usually you'd find about 5 or 6 there most weeks until it gets up to exams, and there's only floor space available for them. But also when they hit Year 11 and 12 and Year 10, we actually run study afternoons on Monday and Tuesday for them as well. And we found a lot of boys have taken up those options this year. What I do find is there is a correlation when I look at reports between the boys who go to homework club, the study afternoons and the maths club. It seems to work in their favour that they will do well. I also go through the reports myself so that I can see whether boys are passing or failing subjects. I want to look at their attitude grades as well so that I know they're actually trying to work to the best of their ability in classrooms. When I notice boys have got all grade 1s and less than 5 grade 2s, I will send them a letter after each report just to let them know that I am looking at the reports and encourage them to keep going in the way they're going. I personalise that letter so they know I'm actually talking about them, because I'll talk about their particular subjects as well. On the other hand, boys who aren't travelling as well, I'll also send them a letter letting them know about that, then we'll talk about it after they receive the letter. The reason I do it is because going back in time, I found a boy who was passing 8 subjects and failing nothing. Then all of a sudden I noticed when I went back and looked at a previous report, he'd actually failed all his subjects. When I looked at that, spoke to him about it, I found out that he was working 7 nights a week because of the family situation. The way we rectified that was we put him into boarding just to help him out with the structure. The next time we saw his report, he actually passed 8 out of 8 again. So it's very important from my point of view to go through all the reports so I can get a monitor on all how the boys are performing. The other side of that is I want the boys to come here, I want them to be confident, and I want them to feel safe. We also offer a large co-curricular program. Co-curricular program, as you saw tonight, starts with the band out there. We do a musical. Last year we did Grease, and we encourage boys to go into that. Again, why? Because it breeds confidence. A good example of it, I had Year 7 coming last year. I told them they all had to go in it. So I had 2 classes on Thursday night, 2 on Friday night, 2 on Saturday night. They came along, not real keen on Thursday night, but enjoyed it so much I had 4 classes on Friday night. As a result, I had 6 classes on Saturday night. Do those boys want to go in the musical this year? Yes, they do. They grew in confidence, and if you could have seen them perform in the aisles here, confidence was not the issue by the time we got to Saturday night. Also, people came to appreciate what we can do as far as the musical goes. We had 1,200 people here on the Saturday night, and we had numerous other audiences during the week. But to see how the young men and the young women from St Pat's were able to perform that Grease musical was a real credit to everyone involved. And I know with our band, you would have heard them out there tonight, and they are good. And I know when I spoke to them about doing the musical, I said I didn't want any CDs being used. She told me that was going to be an issue, but I knew she was up to it, and I knew the boys were, and they performed every song from Grease by themselves. We didn't use any backing tapes or anything else. So the talent is out there, it just needs to be developed. Same with public speaking. You saw young Lachlan get up here tonight. We had the Gordon Better Place Public Speaking. It's an internal public speaking competition a couple of weeks ago. We want to give boys a chance to show what they can do. Lachlan won the Year 7 section of that. And for a Year 7 boy to come out here at 13 years of age, stand up here, talk to over 600 people, is obviously something to do with confidence there as well. And I'm sure you would have enjoyed that speech. But we have many boys who do public speaking. When I looked at last year's results, we had 2 boys in the final of the CDSA public speaking, which is a competition that's run all across Sydney with Catholic schools. We do debating as well, moving into term 2. Our results there were very good also. And we can continue to build on those results, and St Greg's would have a strong name in debating and public speaking circles these days. On the other side of that coin though, I'm talking about building community. The boys come along, they stay here on a Friday night after school, and it's from Year 7 through to Year 12, so they get to know a range of boys. They stay here, they have dinner, and then they'll go off to debating after that. When we're travelling away, we take them on a bus and we bring them back. So once again, it's about community building, and they get that chance to build community with the Year 12s, the Year 7s, whatever age group they're with. So from my point of view, that is something I encourage very strongly. We also encourage the boys in chess. We have a lot of boys who play chess, and as a college we're getting stronger at it. Last year we were in the MCS with it, and the boys actually won it, so we were very pleased. The fact that again there was another group of boys who may not have played football, but they were very good in that area, and we wanted to encourage those sorts of talents. I look at our show cattle and our sheep. Those boys have just gone off to Canberra today. They go down there for 4 days, and we're up against judging against commercial breeders as well as schools. Last year with our commercial competitions, we actually came second in Canberra and second in Sydney, only to commercial breeders. So once again, it's a chance for boys to demonstrate their talent. I talk about public speaking. Yes, we have public speaking competitions, but we have boys who go to the show and they have to stand up and judge various sheep. And they have to be able to say why one sheep is better than another. They would not get up in a public speaking competition, but to go to the show and get up where they're very comfortable and talk. One of the boys last year, he actually came 3rd in New South Wales at the Royal Easter Show and did very well with it. Again, it's about breeding confidence into them. I look at our sports program. As you know, St Greg's is well known for sport, and we do very well at it. Our cricket, we're just concluding the season. We have the first grade team in the final again. Only yesterday they finished the state competition of all Catholic schools in the Downie Shield. We've won that for the last 5 out of 6 years. I look at our basketball. We were premiers last year and that are minor premiers in it. We go into football and soccer next term. Rugby league in our first grade. We're in the final of the MCS, in the final of the CCC, last 8 of the GIO Cup. Our soccer, first grade, won the MCS. They came second in the CCC on a penalty shootout. Another day, could have been a different result. In term 3, we do AFL and touch football. We won the AFL competition as well. We also do one-day sports where we're looking ahead swimming at the moment, tennis, golf, cross-country and athletics. The swimming, we came second last year. Tennis, golf, cross-country first. Athletics, first for the last 14 years in a row. And last year they won all the shields and had 30 boys absent on the day. Just an example of the talent of the boys here. A lot of boys come to St Greg's. They're very good in their own schools, but when you bring that talent pool together, it is very strong. Not that I would say do not come because you're not up there, but I would encourage you to come because you can go up and try and show yourself off and develop that confidence to keep on achieving and only get better. We also run sport on a Saturday in a different competition, but we run rugby union on a Saturday and we encourage boys to join in that. Not only from the rugby point of view, but also from the community building. It's not only the boys going away on buses and being here on Saturday, but we run barbecues as well. We encourage parents to come along and give an hour there. Someone else will speak more about that later to you. So our co-curricular program is a very important part of it. My belief is you build that confidence there, it will flow over into the classroom as well. That is all encapsulated in the Catholic life and culture of St Greg's. If you go on the St Greg's YouTube website, you'll see our masses are already on there. We live stream everything out of here. Tonight is being live streamed. And if you look on that YouTube site, you will see many of the things we've done this year. We have 5 big masses in here, and we have 1,000 boys, plus we get a number of parents who come along as well. Our graduation day, there would be 2,000 people in here. And to hear these boys sing is a very uplifting experience. To be part of that mass is something you will remember. We also have a boarders mass on a Sunday night. We have 140 boarders, and again, it is very uplifting to go along and be a part of that also. We are a Marist school. We value that. We think it is very important. If you were here on the open day, you would have walked around. You would have seen the story of Marsland in the Marsland Champagne courtyard. And also there are various other symbols about the Marist, being the brothers and the names on buildings and things like that. But our Marist heritage is something that we value, and we are going to honour again this year because St Gregory's is 90 years old. But I also say I think it's very important when boys come here. I said we have over 1,000 boys here. We have 1,050 at the moment. Next year we'll most probably go over 1,100. We have 190 boys who will come into Year 7. We break that up into 7 classes. I'm very concerned, and I feel very strongly about it, that I do not want them just to become a number in the place. I want to get to know each boy and try and get to know each one's name. I told you I go through the reports. That's part of the reason I go through it. So I get to see boys. I write down all my statistics on it so I know what's happening with them. I know how many days they've had off. I know how many times they're coming late. And again, acknowledging that is very important for them. Also, we have a co-curricular night where we acknowledge their contribution to the co-curricular activities. I insist on signing each one of those certificates because it allows me to see what each boy has done. If he's only done one thing, that is fantastic. He's tried in one area. You get other boys who'll have a litany of things they've done. Ned was out here before. I'm not sure what he said. I really couldn't hear with the noise up behind me. But Ned's a very good example of someone who came here in Year 7. Monday afternoon he had off. Tuesday he trained for rugby league. Wednesday he did the musical. Thursday he played rugby league. Friday he trained for rugby union. Friday night he did debating. Saturday he played rugby union. Sunday he did equestrian. I'm not sure how he fitted in the band and the show cattle, but he did both of those as well. There are many opportunities here, but I want to know what your sons are doing so that when I walk past them, I can actually engage them in a conversation because I know their name. And that is very important from our point of view. I'll come back on later, give you a few more details, but I just wanted to give you that encapsulation of what we're doing. Other people will talk about a few other areas for you, and I will leave those with you at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I now ask that you turn your attention to the screen.
Yeah, that's right. So is that, what's the colour of the flame?
Every single day your grace reminds me my best days are not behind me. Remember my yesterday.
Luke Grosvenor was a college leader in 2015. Apart from many co-curricular activities, Luke also received an ATAR of 96.10. Luke has kindly offered to return this evening to give you a snapshot of a student who completed his secondary schooling at St Gregory's College. Please welcome Luke.
Good evening, everyone. I'd first of all like to express my gratitude towards the college for inviting me back this evening as a guest speaker. It's quite an honour to be an old boy of St Greg's in the hall this evening, but everyone's St Greg's journey starts somewhere, and for me it feels like it was just yesterday that I was in your shoes. 7 years ago, I was a reasonably popular crowd pleaser at 11 years old, totally loving life and a little bit too cool for school. I was feeling pretty comfortable, and I never really understood that it was the right time in my life for a really big change. It was definitely time to grow up, and my parents told me that they knew the solution. So we came to the Year 7 St Greg's Information Night, and let me tell you, we never looked back. The beauty of sending your son to St Greg's is that purely starting high school is not the only, but just the first of many new beginnings. This college opened my eyes and the eyes of all those around me to endless opportunities and pathways for success that would simply stand as unavailable if it weren't for the culture, the customs, the camaraderie, and the reputation of St Gregory's College, all four of which are extremely well known, as tonight's attendance would suggest. You may be here because you've been impressed by a student in uniform. You may have been to a college mass or to a footy game. You may, like myself, have had a family history. You may have seen our grounds, our facilities, or our H&C results. You may be intrigued by our rare offering of an all-boys education. And I can confidently say that the friendships I have formed, experiences I have shared, and accomplishment that I have found are in part due to the unique brotherhood of this college that I still and will most definitely hold dear to my heart forever. But if there is one thing I know for sure, it's that you're all here this evening because you value your son's education and transition into a young man. I understand that choosing a high school can be a family's biggest decision and quite a daunting task, but I can assure you this evening that whether your sons are academically, artistically, or athletically inclined, their needs will be just as well catered to as the boy beside them here at St Gregory's College. For example, my younger brother joined the school in 2013. He was off at a swimming carnival on the North Shore. I was public speaking on the South Coast. He would stay back after school for footy training. I would stay back to finish off an artwork. He would actually go on to sing the national anthem for the entire SCG as part of the St Gregory's College choir. I would go on to travel overseas for missionary work in remote parts of the world. The opportunities and experiences here to you as a student of this school are brought to life with the dynamic and one-of-a-kind relationship that our teaching staff have with the students and the support that this partnership receives from the parents at home. And I truly believe that the success of St Greg's comes down to this fundamental interaction. And as a result, my 6 years here at the college were filled with none other than pure encouragement to be my absolute best. And it just so turned out that this absolute best was institutionally acknowledged as an ATAR of 96.10, but I truly believe that St Greg's produces more than just statistics. In my opinion, it is the catalyst that sparks the development of socially aware young men that are well equipped for life beyond Bad Galley Hill, and that is why my family chose to invest in St Gregory's College. I will conclude this evening by saying that there is no doubt that St Gregory's College is one very big place, and in comparison, many of you as 11 or 12-year-olds may feel very small, because I certainly know that I did. But in September of last year, I left the college as a graduate, and most importantly, what my family considered as a fine young man, and we owe it all to St Greg's. I wish you all the best as you take the first steps together in the lead up to high school, and I wish for your journey to be filled with great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke, for both your time and your reflections. Mr. Brennan was appointed Deputy Headmaster at the beginning of 2014, after a successful 7-year appointment as Director of Boarding here at the college. Mr. Brennan will now address the critical area of pastoral care at the college.
Thank you very much, Ned, and I'd also like to echo the welcome that you've received from all of our speakers this evening. It's interesting, you may have noticed Lachlan, at the conclusion of his speech, actually left with his mum. He mentioned to me when he arrived he's got an assignment due tomorrow that he was quite concerned about, but was still very happy to give up his time this evening to tell us a little bit about his journey, and hopefully it was something that resonates well with you and your boys. The pastoral care situation here at the school is pivotal to all that we do, and whilst our academic pastoral care is critically important, our Marist values are also. As Mr Miller has said, we are a Catholic school and we don't apologise for that. We are a proud Catholic school in the Marist traditions. Now, for many of you, Marist, the word Marist may mean nothing to you, and it's a word you may not know before. But you'll see the sorts of things there that typify what we believe is the Marist way. To give you a little bit of history just about myself and a few other people around the room, I've been fortunate to have 3 different stints at Marist schools as an educator over the last 22 or so years. I was educated by the Marist brothers at a Marist school, not at St Gregory's, but a school in another state for 9 years. Mr Miller, our college headmaster, was also educated at another Marist school, as was Mr Spencer, who will be speaking shortly. Mr Graham, who you'll hear from later, is actually an old boy of the college. Mr Morrissey, one of the gentlemen who helped you in the car park, was another Marist ex-student of another Marist school. So I guess you makes you wonder, and certainly something that I think about regularly, what is it about a Marist education? And for me, a lot of it comes down to the pastoral care program. Mr Miller's touched on it very well already when he talks about the importance of each of the boys at this school are being known. And I think my experience, well, I know my experience across, again, a number of Marist ministries that is pivotal to all that we do. The boys need to be known. The boys, we need to have expectations of them. We won't apologise for that, and I'll come to that shortly. But importantly, they know that they are valued, and they know that there is somewhere they can go, and somebody, more importantly, they can turn to in a situation where they're uncomfortable, they're nervous, or even excited, somewhere to share positive news. And certainly for me, that embodies all the Marist aspects for me. Here at St Greg's, we have, during our pastoral care program across the years, a number of different activities, again to give the boys opportunities to share lifelong experiences and get to know their peers. You'll notice there the first one is a trip to Narrabeen, and that happens in a couple of weeks for our Year 7s, and they go away with 14 staff this year and a number of Year 11 students, and have 3 days at Narrabeen and 2 nights, which is something they really enjoy. You'll notice there are other events there for boys in Year 7 also. Moving on to Year 8, and you'll see that there is a transitional build-up each year. Again, we look at an opportunity where they learn how to treat ladies, and particularly their mothers, at an etiquette evening. And yet they also have an opportunity with their fathers or their prominent males in their life to get involved in some sporting activities and other challenges one Sunday afternoon. Again, in Year 9, there are a number of opportunities there. Some of these are still in progress and still being worked upon, but things, again, you'll see there that we look to do for boys in Year 9, a pivotal year, particularly with positive role modelling from males. If we move to Year 10, again, there's an outdoor education program where the boys have more opportunities than ever before. The bulk of the boys will travel together on camp. However, there'll be a group of Year 10s and they'll be selected based on merit, more importantly, how they are travelling as human beings at the school rather than academically, what level of support they're giving the college, their involvement in different areas of college life. They may have a chance to walk Tasmanian Highlands, or they may go on a tall ship around Sydney, out to the heads and a bit further and back. Or alternatively, they may do a Murrumbidgee canoe paddle for 9 days. So again, we're giving boys at Year 10 an opportunity to be boys, which is really, really important today. And then in their final years, there's an opportunity for a college retreat in Year 11 or the start of Year 12, where they reflect on their time, importantly, the first 5 years or so of their time here, or however long they've been here, and they start to think about life past St Greg's. And again, if you talk to students who are ex-students, and I know Luke would attest to this, that would be one of the highlights of his time here. An opportunity to share a couple of days away with friends, just to have a look at the good times that they've shared, and critically important, where they're looking to go when they leave this college. The Insight program is another one that is critical to us, where again, the boys go out into community service, Whether it be at Matt Talbot Hostel, it may be a nursing home, it may be a school for students with special needs, where they give 2 days of their year back to another organisation. And again, that then flourishes and builds into people like Luke, who then want to go on and do missionary work in other parts of the world. There are too many opportunities to list, but I've listed a couple there, just the sorts of activities that your boys get a chance to do outside of school, or outside of the four walls of a classroom or the ovals of a PE department. And you'll see again, it's already been spoken at length by our wonderful presenters tonight already. The opportunities are endless, and they do cater for the interests and needs of all of the students that we have here at St Gregory's. Importantly, again, boys like to be recognised. They like to be rewarded for good things. And we certainly have a notification system where boys receive green stamps, and it's interesting, boys in Year 12 still want to get these green stamps because they do lead to public recognition. And again, it's not for boys getting 100% in an exam, it's for boys doing something above and beyond what is expected of them in a classroom or outside of the classroom. And again, the boys, it's something that they are very proud of when they are presented with the different awards throughout the course of the year. In each year group, there's also an opportunity for the homeroom team and the year coordinator to recognise boys, some of our unsung heroes, some of our boys who quietly go about their business but make a positive contribution to the school. And they're also recognised at our Champagne Mass in a Champagne Award. I think importantly though, and we don't apologise for this at all, there are consequences for boys who at times fail the expectations that we have them as a school. We do have a traditional structure. The expectation, if an adult was to ever walk into a classroom, the teacher would cease teaching, every boy would stand up, they'd be greeted by the visitor before they sat down. We don't apologise for that. And if it's not something you think your son would be particularly au fait with, then you need to probably consider things. But I can tell you the boys do it very, very well. The uniform, it's very rare for us to have to challenge a boy in his uniform. They're boys, their socks are going to go down, their shirts are going to come out. As they approach the teacher, however, very rarely does much need to be said. The boys have a look at themselves subconsciously, the socks come up, the shirts go in. I'd like to think your experience with the boys in the public arena is also as positive as that. And certainly we are often, and I would say more on a weekly or even twice a week, members of the public take the time to contact the college about something a student did at the school. Be it helping somebody with groceries up the stairs at Campbelltown Station or carrying a bag down the stairs. Those sorts of things, again, largely unseen, but they're things that we would expect of our young men. And we would be very disappointed to see somebody in need not being looked after by our boys. So again, our expectations are high. We don't apologise for that. We get good results and we produce the sort of boys, hopefully, that you've met this evening. Again, it was interesting, and it's always a great exercise for me to stand back and watch the Year 7 boarders greet you as you come out of your cars. I can assure you that the ones that were here early, the boys are creeping further away and they're pushing somebody in front to be the first couple of people to be brave enough to strike up a conversation with an adult, to introduce themselves and to walk them to the opening. Within about 15 minutes or so, there's probably 5 or 10 game boys who are trying to get in the front of the line to meet you first. I noticed by the end, by about 7:25, the boys were very generous in their time walking you up, but if you had to turn around instead of walking in, you would have seen that boy sprint as quick as he could back to the starting line to try and get the next family. And the confidence that was built in the boys in a 45-minute window is something that we're very, very proud of. As far as our communication goes, it is something that we think is critical, and it's not an opportunity for you as parents to drop your boys here in Year 7 and return in Year 12 at their graduation. We do communicate with you regularly. A good example, I guess, is this evening. We made a decision this afternoon, given the expected extreme weather tomorrow, to cancel the sport in the afternoons. I mean, Thursday is our traditional day of sport. The grand finals have been cancelled. All of our sports have been cancelled. We then send out an SMS to all of our families asking them to check email. They check their email and there's a letter there from the college just explaining what's happening tomorrow afternoon. And again, we would expect that the students continue to represent us very, very importantly outside of the school, as well as they do and as well as we see them here day to day. So again, I really thank you for your time this evening. I know it's a warm night. Just 2 final points which came up from general questions from people over the course of Sunday. The first one is transport, and it was an interesting one because we hadn't heard it really before. We obviously work very closely with Busabout and Interline and the other bus companies and also the State Transit Authority to ensure our boys get to school safely and home safely. And certainly the question was asked, we had an influx of boys from Camden this year into Year 7, and there was some initial teething problems with the number of students we had. Through a working process with the local member and the state government and also the bus company, extra buses and change of times of buses have resulted, which start next week. So it is something that we are acutely aware of, and it certainly isn't a problem. So I know there was a couple of families who were thinking, will it be difficult to get my son to St Greg's? It certainly won't. Particularly as you may have heard, there's a back gate opening at some stage this year, so for those living in Harrington Park out that way, it certainly will cut down your travel time. And the second question was asked just briefly, again, the technology in the school. Currently we have all of our boys from Year 7 to 12, they are provided with a one-to-one laptop device, which is used extensively in classrooms, and obviously alleviates a lot of the weight of bags and other expectations there. So we are a very much technology-rich classroom. That's all I have to say this evening. I know Mr Miller will be up again shortly just to introduce the rest of the staff, and certainly we're all going to be here at the end of the evening to answer any personalised questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Brennan. Mr. Spencer joined the college in 2011 as Senior Boarding Coordinator. Last year, Mr. Spencer was appointed as the Director of Boarding. To talk briefly about the many opportunities available in boarding, please welcome Mr. Spencer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. St Gregory's started as a boarding school, and I guess a chance tonight, as you're thinking about joining us here, it's important, I guess, that you hear that a little bit of history, that we did start as that and we still have a boarding school present here today. You heard Mr. Brennan refer to the fact we have 140 boarders over there at the moment. Those boys come from predominantly around country New South Wales, but increasingly, as is a trend at most boarding schools, our sort of biggest postcodes are around this very area. Our weekly boarders are growing in number each year. So I just thought I'd run you through a little bit about how the boarding school works. Some people come here and never actually set foot over there, so it's important, I think, you know what goes on there. We are the only boys boarding school in Western Sydney. We offer structure, routine, the study program, and certainly mateship becomes very evident, as you heard from Luke at the end there, how important mateship is to the boys when they finish here at St Greg's. Just in terms of the structure, all boys from Year 7 to 12 have their own room, and that often still surprises people when you take people over there, because there are still boarding schools where boys are in the big open dorms. So every boy here has their own room. Each boarding house does have, well, there are actually 17 staff that live on site, caring for your sons at all times. There are about 30 staff that work in total across those boarding houses. And there are residents behind each of the boarding houses where there are families that live, and I live on site as well. Mr Miller lives on site, and there's a staff member that lives in a flat in each of those boarding houses as well. So there's always adults present, 24 hours a day to care for your sons. The boarding routine, what does that involve? Basically getting up at about 6:45 in the morning. The boys have around 40 minutes or so to get themselves ready. And then we head from the boarding house over to school for breakfast. And we'll have a new dining hall, which we'll be moving into in the next few weeks. All the meals are then at school for the day. They head back to their boarding houses in the afternoon, grab some afternoon tea, get changed, and head out for the afternoon to play sport, sit under a tree, go to the pool, whatever, go up to the library, or join some of the study programs that you heard Mr Miller refer to as well. They then come back to the houses and get ready for study. They head over at 5 o'clock for study. And in Year 7, they'll do an hour in that first session of study. That's over at the school, supervised in classrooms with tutors present to help the boys out. They'll then head down for dinner, again over at the school here in our dining hall. Then they'll have some free time and then they'll head back over to the houses and do their second session of study over there. Again, that's at the boys' desks, fully supervised, staff walking around. The different options, most boys are full-time, but as I said, the weekly boarding option is always growing. A couple of options we come up with there, different boarding schools do different things. We offer weekly boarding which commences on a Sunday night and runs through to the boys going home on Friday afternoon. And another option we have in there is where they'll come in on a Monday morning and go home on a Thursday afternoon after sport. So a couple of different options there depending on how much you want to take on or how much the boys really want to invest in school. You heard Luke say how busy the place is. We've got boys that just want to be part of this just because they want to participate in Toastmasters at night time, do rugby training, play rugby on Saturdays, all that sort of stuff. So it does sometimes just become a thing that's convenient for people, that the boys can participate in all those things, be fed here, go to bed here, wake up here fresh, ready to go. We take up the travel time. We're aware that there's busyness in a lot of your homes as well. That structure, that routine and that support around the boys is working very well for all those boarders. If you do have further questions, I'm obviously here tonight and you can see me afterwards. Well, please get in contact with our college registrar, Mrs. Romeo, who's also up the back there, and ask any questions you like tonight. Very happy to take you through for a tour during the day, of an afternoon or an evening. I'm always here, so thank you very much.
Mrs. Dean is the current careers advisor, but also performs the critical role of parent liaison officer. To talk to you about some opportunities for parents, please welcome Mrs. Dean.
Thank you, Josiah. Just to let you know, I didn't go to a Marist school, unlike everybody else up here, but I've been lucky enough to be involved in Marist education for more than 20 years, and I can strongly endorse everything that's been said before tonight, or during the time tonight. I want to add my welcome to you, but actually it's more to the parents that I'm going to talk for the next couple of minutes. The community here at St Greg's College considers our parents as an important and vital part of the college, as together you and your sons move through the years of secondary education. We want parents to know that they're valued, and we encourage open communication between the families and our college. We hold parent forums in all of our year groups, once a term. Year 7s, we meet alone and together. We group year 8 and 9 together, and then 10, 11 and 12. We have a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning and again at 7:30 in the evening. And we try and make ourselves available to as many of our parents as possible during that time. Mr. Miller, as the headmaster, and myself, as the parent liaison, are present at those meetings. Mr. Miller will inform parents of things that have been happening around the school involving the college. We might discuss upcoming events, and we might ask your opinion on certain things. We talk about our dances and our camps, and we discuss things that are relevant to each particular year group. For example, choosing electives in year 8 and 11, work experience for our year 10s, and information regarding the HSC for our year 12s. We have found these forums that replaced our P&F provide parents with information and make them feel part of the St Greg's community. We also introduced a volunteer program where we outline the events that we ask our parents for help in to support the college. This program gives dates for the entire year, and we have found that the parents are able to plan times when perhaps they are less busy and can volunteer for supervision of a dance, the college musical, or our open day. We had over 36 parents help us out with our open day last Sunday. Currently, I'm working with a committee of 30 volunteer parents on a fantastic art show and market stall weekend as part of our 90 years of celebration for St Greg's. It's happening in this May, and if I give you a 2-second plug for it, I've left some little blue flyers for you with your information packs, You are welcome to come, and we would love to see you as part of that celebration weekend. I only got to have a little small snapshot of our parent involvement in the college, but I hope it proves to all of you how important the parents of our sons are to all of us. Please feel free to introduce yourself to me as this evening winds up, and I'm happy to answer questions that you may have. Thank you.
For the final word of the evening, I invite Mr. Miller to give you some key dates and close proceedings.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just asked the staff who are on the floor if they could come and stand up the front along the front, please. That's everyone, Mrs. Mitchell. We breed confidence in the young men. It's about trying to breed it in the staff as well. Obviously, I've been a bit of a failure in one of those areas. We actually try and run these meetings to an hour. I think we're running pretty close to time at the moment. But I just wanted to introduce the staff to you who are here tonight, just so if you do have any questions, these are the people you can talk to tonight. If I start down here on my right, Catherine Jeffcoat, Director of the Foundation Office. Mrs. Daniela Romeo, my Secretary and also the College Registrar. Mrs. Kathy Clark, Director of Mission. Mr. Barry Graham, Director of Administration, WH&S. Mrs. Kathy Mitchell, Foundation Office. Mrs. Jo Dash, Learning Support Coordinator. Mr. Steve Harden, the Year 7 Coordinator. Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to Miss Ray's not here, but she was the young lady out there conducting the band tonight, and they will take any opportunity to put on the band performance, so I thank her for giving up their time, but also those young men. Also the gentlemen down the back who will give out the envelopes to you tonight. They've given up their study time to be here, so we really do appreciate that, and they're very disappointed about the fact that they've had to give up the study time, as you could imagine. So I thank them very much for being here. Also to our compares tonight, Josiah, the school captain. He is also one of our top public speakers. Josiah himself is in the top 10 academically. He plays rugby league, he does public speaking. We've just seen him singing out there tonight. Confidence. Ned also is one of our leaders, and I've already given you his resume. But Lachlan also coming along from Year 7. And then Luke, one of our past students from last year. We actually had 19 boys with an ATAR over 90. Luke was one of those. He actually got 96, I think it was, from memory. And it's also the interesting combination. A lot of boys do art up to Year 10, but then drop it and think it'll ruin their ATAR if they take it through to 11 and 12. But Luke was one of those boys who took it through, got a band 6 in art as well. So I do thank him for giving up his time, because he was here on Sunday as well, and I thank him for that. Just going over where we're going to from here, I'll ask you to take an application package from down the back tonight. And where we will go with that is that the enrolments will close on Thursday the 24th of March. Then we have 2 interview days on the 3rd of May and the 4th of May. And then we get out the notifications to you by the 27th of May. And we ask you confirm by the 9th of June. Now the reason I run such a tight timeline is because we get oversubscribed with enrolments, and we can only take the 190. We have 250 or 300. Obviously we can't take everyone. Therefore, I try to run that tight timeline so we can give you feedback. Also, if you do get accepted in, that's great. You know your problem's over. Otherwise, to try and help support people who aren't as successful. So that is what we're doing with that. Just one story before you go. One thing I didn't mention is I do a thing called the Under the Radar letter. I mentioned to you I want to know each boy. I don't want them just to be a number. The Under the Radar letter, we have a lot of boys who, let's say, are in the top 10. We have a lot of boys who are in the bottom 10. We have boys who I get to know because their discipline isn't as good as someone else. I get to know boys through because they're the top of the co-curricular. But we would have 90% of the gentlemen who come to school every day, wear the uniform well, turn up on time, never miss a day, do their homework, do the right thing all the time. And they make our life a joy, obviously. So what I do is I will single those boys out, and I will create a letter that has all those sort of things in it. But then I personalise it so the boy knows I'm actually talking about him and not someone else. When I first started doing that, I sent a letter home, and one of the boys came and saw me and said my mother received it, and she burst into tears. And I said it wasn't meant to do that. And he said, yes, but she doesn't get a letter from the headmaster every day. This is the first time she got one in 5 years, so she didn't think it was good news. And when she opened it and read what was in there, the tears flooded even faster. But he was very appreciative of the letter because it was so good. And he put that in his resume, and the boys do that with them. Now, what I usually do is I give one of those letters between 7 and 11, and I'll give a second one in year 12. But again, it's about resumes, but it's also about making the boys realise that we do know them. They're not just a number, they are someone when they come here. And as I said, safety, confidence, that Catholic Marist ethos is something we want them to grow up with and do. You saw a lot of boys out there tonight on car park. They were all going up, most probably shaking hands, welcoming you, telling their history story as they walked across. It was a long walk, you most probably got a long history. But I thank them for what they did tonight as well. If your sons, they come here and they can do that, I'm sure you'll be very proud of them as well. But once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the staff who have been here tonight. If you have any questions, that's what we're here for tonight, and I'd ask you to pick up one of those packages on the way out. So thank you and good night.